Hi everyone. It feels so good to be back again on the Azams show. It's been quite a while and I hope that you're all doing very well. I got COVID and I have since recovered from it. Thankfully, I didn't have to go into hospital or anything like that. But I can tell you that COVID is not something that you wish on your worst enemy either. It's a very strange kind of illness. But I'm fine now. I'm back on top form. So I'm taking this opportunity to welcome each and every one of you back on the Azams show. I have a wonderful guest with me today, and we are going to be talking about her business, how she has managed to cope through the period of the pandemic, being in the kind of business that it is your duty to console family members who have lost their loved ones. My guest is from the UK and her name is Claire Mountain of Mountain Celebrations. She is the CEO of Mountain Celebrations. But I'm going to leave the proper introduction to herself. So Claire, I'm so glad to have you on my show. How are you doing today?
Very well, thank you very much. And thank you for inviting me for being here.
So, like I said, I am very, happy to have you on the show. But before we go into the main questions, can you please just take a moment to introduce yourself properly?
So I'm Claire Mountain, and my work history really is 25 years at British Airways. When I left there, I became a professional speaker. I set up Mountain Celebrations, and Mountain Celebrations basically officiates at funerals, weddings, and naming ceremonies.
Claire, so I'm going to dive into my first question straight away. How did you become interested in the business of funeral celebrations?
So I became interested in being a funeral celebrant through a friend of mine who's a funeral director, who actually said that I had more than enough mouth, so that it was a good job for me to do. So I looked into it, did the research and the training, and thought it was quite a good option. And there was a niche in the market for it as well.
When did you set up Mountain Celebrations?
So I set up Mountain Celebrations in 2010, and that grew then. And in 2015, we were incorporated. And then we also set up Mountain Celebrations training as well in 2015.
Can you share with us what exactly do you do at your job?
So obviously, I'm the managing director of both of the companies. Mountain Celebrations, I officiate, like most of my team, at funerals and weddings. And Mountain Celebrations training, we train online celebrants from all over the world.
What is the most difficult part of the job? I mean, there must be time when you have to, console family members.
Definitely. The funeral side is obviously the harder part of the role. Basically as well, especially if the family have had a loss in a child or a baby, that can be very difficult and very emotionally draining.
How do you do that? Do you have trouble maintaining your own emotions at such occasions?
Sometimes, yes. Sometimes myself and my secretary Jill are often in the office writing services and often crying to music or sad stories or poems. But yes, sometimes emotions are brought into it. And I think that's a good thing though, I said, because if they didn't touch us in that way, then we wouldn't be human.
You are also one of the co-authors in my book of lockdown stories. Please share with our viewers what prompted you to lend your voice for this publication.
Well, you invited me to start with, but I wanted to speak to the public and tell everybody how difficult it was to work through COVID. Initially, those that worked in the funeral industry weren't classed as essential workers, and we had to fight for the right to be recognised in that way, because obviously funerals still went on daily, although weddings were put on hold. So it was difficult, and I wanted to put that across, that we were affected by it quite greatly.
When COVID first started, things changed for everyone. You even wrote in the book how it all affected your business due to government restrictions and the numbers attending funerals. It means that family were no longer able to come together, gather together to say a proper goodbye to a loved one. So can you please explain to our viewers how difficult this might have been for you?
So normally at a funeral, we'd have anything up to 500 plus people there, and we were down to 5. And for some families, that was absolutely devastating. So for families that had more than 4 or 5 siblings, they had to choose who could go and who couldn't. And that was just devastating.
Being a person who works directly in the situation. What can you tell us that has changed, since the lifting of the restrictions? Has anything changed at all?
So the difficult part during the COVID period was, of course, the worry of catching something while you were working and bringing that home to my family and my friends. Even though we were in lockdown, we still had my daughter and son still lived with us. So that was a worry. And it's difficult to say, to give a full eulogy on somebody's life when you're talking to their immediate family who know everything. So it was hard in that way. Now things are relatively back to normal. We're getting back on track. Things are becoming more acceptable to have a chapel full of people, and funerals are getting more back to what they were.
What kind of advice can you give to the general public with regards to COVID itself?
Oh gosh, take care. Take care of yourself, keep following the regulations, get vaccinated. That's really, really important. I'm a big pro for the vaccination, and life has to go on as normal, but there are things in place to help you, and just stay safe.
As with most jobs, there must be days that, prove to be very stressful. I can only imagine how yours must be.
It is difficult, but it's an incredibly rewarding job. And we actually help people say goodbye to those that they love. And if you get that right, that's brilliant.
Claire, I really must thank you for taking the time out, from your busy schedule to come and talk to me. So thank you very much for being my guest on the Carol Azams Show. I very much look forward to talk to you again soon. Take care now, and bye.
You're very welcome. Thank you very much for having me, and I look forward to speaking with you soon. Thank you.
Okay, viewers, my special guests today have been Claire Mountain. She is the CEO of Mountain Celebrations that officiates for all different kinds of celebration. I know that the show today has been centered on the issue of funerals, and the reason why I picked on that particular topic is because of what is going on with the COVID, and how different businesses have managed to cope through that. Being one that is actually in the middle of dealing with families who have lost family members, and having to work through with those families, and especially in a period whereby there's been so many different kinds of restrictions, you're really not allowed to do your job fully, even in that circumstances. And that is the reason why I have zeroed on the topic of funeral. And I have been chatting to Claire from the UK, and I want to say that if you need such service, maybe you are in the United Kingdom, maybe close by in the areas that she lives, you can contact her if you think you need someone to officiate at your weddings, your birthdays, naming ceremonies, and all other kind of celebrations, not just a funeral. So you can head over to Claire's website at any time, and that is mountaincelebrations.co.uk. So I really want to take this opportunity to thank you for being with us on the show today. You've been watching the Carol Azams Show. Until I come your way again next time, is God bless you. Goodbye, and God bless you.